Screen at WHBCSports.com and our All-Care YouTube Game of the Week, Hoover at Louisville, live on our WHBC YouTube page.
We're going to have fun for 4 quarters here tonight.
Thank you, WHBC, for everything that you do for high school sports.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight on this beautiful Wednesday morning. And this morning, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite events happening here in Stark County. It's been happening for a very long time. We always like to explain to you, for those of you who are not familiar, how it came about and what it's all about. And also, we're going to give you a chance to win some tickets today. So stay tuned. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Yankee Peddler Festival. And we have the 2 coordinators of the Yankee Peddler Festival with us this morning, Frank and Amanda Chaika. How are you guys?
Great. We're
Great.
fine.
Thanks for inviting us. Thank you very much.
Oh, we're so glad to have you. It's always fun to just kind of find out more about the Yankee Peddler Festival. And before we get into all the fun things that are going to be happening, I want to give our listeners a little bit of history and talk about how this thing got started, because you're celebrating 50 years this year, correct?
That's the case. It started 50 years ago. Amanda and I didn't get involved until a few years after it started, but it was started by my parents and the Chaika family and the Apple family. It was a very small event at the first year, as you might imagine, because it was a really off-the-wall kind of idea, the idea of bringing people out into the countryside in a beautiful setting and having arts and crafts out there for people to view. Most people are accustomed and still are accustomed to going to a store and picking things off the shelf. And this is a whole different concept about how you communicate the beauty of art and the human creativity. And the first year they had, I think, about 2,000 people attend. They had one stage with a melodrama, and there were only 2 areas. It was a very small show. But by the time Amanda and I got involved,
There were 3 areas.
Yeah, there were 3 areas. It was growing, and it took off from there. I can remember when some people said right at the beginning, "Oh, this will never prosper. You'll be out of business by 10 years." And here we are, 50 years later. So time goes fast, but yeah. It's a brilliant idea that was ahead of its time, and the idea that people can interact with the artist and crafter and move from one small little shop to another and see all the inspiration and all of the creativity occur right before your eyes, and it's just a beautiful event because of that.
And this is really a step back in time, right?
Exactly.
It starts. Festival represents the 1776 until 1825, 1800s. It is very, very historical in this sense, because we bring all these crafters with different techniques, different way to express themselves, and show to the people. And that's what makes the festival unique.
Yeah, we leave the modern world behind as you walk through the gate. And I think you've experienced that. As you walk through the gate, it's kind of like, first of all, we're walking into a piece of art, because it's just not what you normally see on a daily basis. And we minimize all the distractions of modern life, whether it's feedback or buzz or honking or whatever. And it's a very peaceful environment where we try to transport you back to 1776 for the purpose of understanding where arts and crafts started. That was everything. That was not arts and crafts then exactly. It was actually the way you made things in the homestead to survive all year, and people did arty things with them. And so it's an idea of trying to get people to appreciate the origins of the arts and crafts that we know today, and to experience them at a level that they can't do in a store, for instance.
Yeah, and I think for me, I always think of it as, it's enjoyable for adults because it's relaxing and, you just enjoy doing it. But, for younger people, it's also, it's a lesson in history, and, they can kind of get an idea. You take them and let them learn some things while they're having some fun, right?
Well,
This is the main purpose of this festival. Bring people, be conscious about the different things that go behind the malls, behind the stores. And so you can see all these artists expressing themselves. their attitudes and techniques with how they make the craft, how they can show to the people. It's very fascinating to see a lot of people asking questions and crafters answering. So there's a learning process there, something they have to learn. And people today, modern students usually, they are not exposed to this kind of environment. And so this is very unique in this sense. I really love when I see young people asking questions. And then when they finally, wow, did they make the basket that way? This kind of comments really is fascinating. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the curiosity part of it is great. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, Amanda, we're both professional educators. I worked at a university, and Amanda worked at university, and also taught at every level of education.
Yes.
So education is built into the festival, and Amanda's imprint is big because she worked with informal settings as well as formal settings, and it means a lot to us when we can bring up young people to see something that they really, they spend their time in front of a smartphone today. They don't really see any of this going on, and it's very, very educational. We in fact have a children's weekend. The second weekend of the festival is particularly, there's special events for children, and that includes entertainment. Crafters and artists put out demonstrations where the kids can put hands on and practice things and learn things, and they get little mini classes, as it were. So there's a lot of activity for children on the festival, and it is a family event.
We work all the family. My obviously Frank, my oldest daughter works and answering the phones and goes in the inquiries board. My oldest son makes all the computer system to work, and the youngest one helps in the budget. And so all of us work all year around. Sometimes you don't stop working there. There's a little business that goes all the time.
Yeah, when you say all year round, that was going to be my next question, because even though it's just, it's held 3 weekends in September, this is an event that you guys are working on, 365 days a year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We don't consider the festival. Yeah, the festival's never over. We go through a whole yearly cycle. There are different things, but we really do spend the entire year. It's either planning or organizing, and then actually carrying it out, dismantling it, and back to start again. Our winter months are filled with finding and recruiting crafters and artists. We have a selection committee, so there's a rather long process by which people are accepted, and so we go on. We go through that process, and then we continue into the spring as an organization. We have 2 components: organization, which is budgeting, payroll, all of those things that go on with the normal business, publicity, and then the physical side of things is when we start working on the grounds in the summer to put together. This is Clay's Park Resort. We lease it for a month, but everything what goes in has to come out. So there's a lot of work on both ends of the festival there.
I could only imagine, because it's a large festival. It's a large event. You guys have, there's just so much to see and do for folks. And so again, like you said, Clay's Park Resort in Canal Fulton, what kinds of, how long does it take you to set up? I mean, does it take you a couple of weeks or a week?
Oh, no, it takes us, it starts in July. The physical side starts in July, right?
Okay.
And we have to work around the events that Clay's has and that sort of thing. August is very intensive with work. And then, of course, coming summer, it's all put together. So it's really about 2.5 months of preparation. Before they even get on Clay's, they're already building things and to move down and moving things around. So it's about 2.5 months.
So the Yapple family does the work. The physical labor in the Yapple family with Gretchen, Christopher, now his niece Christine, and the main worker in this place is John Eads, and he really will work all year around. I guess he's the only one who starts the festival in his 15 years work.
Yeah, he's been around for years.
And so I want to remind people, this is for 3 weekends. It's this weekend on the 9th and 10th. It is the following weekend, the 16th and 17th. And then again on the 23rd and 24th. What are the hours for the festival?
The gates open at 10:30 and close at 5:30. If there are long lines at 10:30, then we sort of open a little early if we can. We don't want people standing in line, especially if it's really warm like these days. I guess it's going to be a little chillier, but certainly we don't want people standing in lines for a long time.
All right, we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the artisans and the crafters and what kinds of things people can see when they come to the Yankee Peddler Festival, celebrating its 50th anniversary. It's the 50th annual Yankee Peddler Festival coming up this weekend, starting this weekend. And we'll talk more about that on Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
Free and easy. That's our website, WHBC.com.
Before you stop and consider scheduling service or maintenance for your electric backup generators, stop and consider the alternative. Cold, powerless, uncomfortable, disconnected. You see, when you put a Beck service and maintenance plan in place to keep your generator in tip-top shape and ready to run, there's really nothing stopping you.
The fastest way to fix is Beck Electric generators and plumbing.
We're having a huge Labor Day sale at the Half Off and Hot Buy store in Louisville. Many items on sale and coupons at the cash register to save you even more. Plus a free gift with each purchase and limit one per family. We have the store loaded with all sorts of merchandise, including a huge display of Halloween like none other before, toys, and much, much more. The Half Off and Hot Buy store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy. The sale ends Wednesday, September 6th.
Step back in time 200 years and join the Yankee Peddlers at the 50th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton, Ohio, on the weekends of September 9th, 10th, 16th, 17th, 23rd, and 24th. Over 200 artists and crafters will set up rustic shops at the largest show of its kind in Ohio, joined by purveyors of tasty outdoor fare, made over open fires, and entertainers from musical groups to theatrical productions. More information at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. It's the 50th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival. Don't miss it. Tune in each Saturday at 8 a.m. for the Money Matters radio show, now expanded to an hour long. Hosts Bob Foudy and David Ryan help you make your money matter. Find out how today's economy, debt levels, and policies affect your hard-earned money. Tune into the new hour-long Money Matters radio show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on News Talk 1480 WHBC. To speak to Bob Foudy or Dave Ryan about your money matters, call New Horizon Financial Group in Canton at 330-499-1915.
RG Drag, Stark County's premier career center, offers programs that prepares its students at the high school level for careers and continued education beyond high school. Upon completion, RG Drag students have an immediate opportunity to obtain a well-paying job in many exciting career fields. We offer everything from culinary, dental assisting, engineering, sports turf and landscape, welding, and so much more. Contact RG Drag to find a program and career that's the perfect fit for you. RG Drag, where careers begin.
Ugh, I don't have time for a cold.
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey flavor.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honey-licious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honey-licious. Power through your day, medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Cleveland area attorneys. 5005 Rockside Road, Suite 350, Independence, Ohio 44131.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on this Wednesday morning. And today we're talking about the Yankee Peddler Festival, which is coming up this weekend. It's the first of 3 weekends. So we'll be giving away some tickets coming up in just a few minutes. And so stay tuned for that. We want to afford somebody a chance to come out and visit and have some fun. And we have with us this morning Frank and Amanda Chaika, and I want you guys to fill us in a little bit about how it is to, first of all, they are the coordinators of the festival, I might say, but tell us how you go about selecting the artisans and the crafters and the folks who become a part of the festival. How does that process work?
Okay, we have a rather, it's a lengthy process. We ask for applications. We have two sides, the traditional side, which is the 1776 and 1825. And we haven't spoken about Yankee Peddler today, which is a contemporary side. But the deadline for the traditional side is actually November 1st. So the turnaround is very quick from the festival. Everyone has to apply again every year, and it goes to our selection committee. An application. The application is online. It passes to our selection committee. They take into account all of our plans for the next year. How many slots we have for jewelry, how many slots we have for leather work, metal work, whatever. And then we pick amongst those people. First come, first served. We sometimes don't fill all the slots by the time that we send out contracts in December, and those stay open, and we do take applications during the year to fill those slots that are there. But typically we fill most of the festival up, the traditional side, by December. And the deadline for the more contemporary show is January 1st, and we have contracts out by the end of January. So by February, we pretty much have everyone locked in for who's going to be in the show, and we can work with them during the period of time leading up to the show, coordinating all those people to get on the grounds and set up their booths. You've seen them all, build booths, put up tents, do landscaping, to do all the things they do is really a Herculean task. And so we prepare them with a lot of give and take about what you need to do, how you're going to do it, etc. We even have a handbook that we give out to the artists and crafters. So it's a lengthy process, but by the end of February, pretty much have the great majority of artists and crafters. That also works for them too. They have to plan their yearly calendar as well. So everything at that end is done by February. Then we work with food vendors. We haven't even spoken about food, which is actually,
I
know. But that again goes through a process of selection because we get an awful lot of people apply to sell food on the grounds as well. So yeah, it's been a process. We have people on our committee that have been that have participated in the festival for years. No, they're retired or whatever, but people who really appreciate pottery or whatever their given art form is. So we're highly selective.
You guys are like a well-oiled machine. That's what you are. See,
we would like to give that impression.
So talk about Yankee Peddler today. Because that's been around for what, 18 years, I think, is what I read.
23 now.
Oh, 22. Okay, all right.
We started Yankee. Amanda and I came up with the idea of Yankee Peddler today because we just saw that there were an awful lot of young artists and crafters who made wonderful things, but they didn't fit into 1776 and 1825. And so we decided to start a new area, which we call Liberty Village or Yankee Peddler today, to introduce those people to become a part. So it's actually like two festivals at the same time. We don't have borders up there and you don't cross frontiers and everything, but it works that there's an area that's more or less the Yankee Peddler today. And then so you can see contemporary arts and crafts at the same time as you can then walk around and see the traditional. The same motif is carried over, except that they have modern techniques and contemporary styles. They don't wear colonial costumes like the rest of the group does. So there's some differences, but the idea that you are there to demonstrate your craft and art and to talk to people, engage them in what you're doing, educating, caring for the people that are there, that carries through on all sides. And it's been very, very successful. We have, that's a place that the Yankee Peddler keeps growing in the numbers.
And there was very little people involved in the traditional craft because today modern life demands computers, demands cell phones. And so there was very few people who were really involved in the art that was from the past.
Yeah, we had.
And now in modern techniques appears with much different way of looking the world, different way to express their art. And so we decided to have this today festival. And young people, basically.
I think also when we say there were fewer people, we had wagon wheel makers at the first festival. We had all of these. We had shoemakers. We had all these people, and they're still wonderful. But no one makes wagon wheels anymore or needs them, and so they have no market. And they think, oh yeah, they're rope makers. Those just unfortunately there's no market for them, and these people are there to make money, so they have to change, they have to evolve too. So even though we pretend that we're removed from the modern world, it has its influence on what's going on in terms of the market that our artists and crafters can appeal to as well.
Yeah, and there's a common thread. They all have, they're all artisans, and they all have a way of making their craft, right? It may be including the modern way, but it still goes back to the same thing. They're artists, and they're making things, and
come up with an idea and work with raw materials, and
right, exactly, and that's awesome. So if folks want to get tickets, how do they go about doing that?
Well, there's two ways. One is just to walk up to the gate.
Okay.
That we have two gates, and we have very efficient cashiers. They move people through very quickly, and the price for adults this year went up for the first time in almost 20 years to $11 instead of $10. We're subject to the same inflationary pressures as everyone else. So it's $11 at the gate for adults, $10 for seniors and children. We've held the line at $3. You can also purchase tickets online by going to our website, which is on the screen, yankeepeddlerfestival.com. And there's a place to purchase tickets, and there's modest discount right now. If you purchase tickets earlier in the year, we had a more substantial discount. We had advance sale, but now the tickets are $10.50 for adults. There's still $10 for seniors because there's no double dipping there. They get the $1 off anyway, and $2.50 for children if they order online. And then the advantage of that, of course, is that you don't have to stand in line to buy tickets. You can just walk into the gate. So
that's right. All right. Well, I'm going to give them another way to get tickets, and that's to win some right now. And if they want to give us a call at 330-450-1480, I will give a family 4-pack of tickets away. And you can get these tickets. You'll have to come to the radio station to pick them up. And you'll have a chance. You can use them any of the 3 weekends starting this weekend. It's a fantastic place to visit. And if you have never been, you've got to go. I'm telling you. So we will take, producer Billy will take callers 6 and 7 this morning. Again, that's 330-450-1480. Take our final break for news right now. And we'll be back with Spotlight on 1580 WHBC.
Step back in time 200 years and join the Yankee Peddlers at the 50th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton, Ohio, on the weekends of September 9th, 10th, 16th, 17th, 23rd, and 24th. Over 200 artists and crafters will set up rustic shops at the largest show of its kind in Ohio, joined by purveyors of tasty outdoor fare, made over open fires and entertainers from musical groups to theatrical productions. More information at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. It's the 50th annual Yankee Peddler Festival. Don't miss it.
You can be a great heating and cooling technician, but at CKP, they expect more. More skill, more attention to detail, and just more respect for the customers they serve. They're not going to sell you on a new heating and cooling system when all you need is a part. It's a simple process. Do right by your customer. At CKP, they live it every day. Highly rated and highly respected, the family-owned and operated team at CKP Heating and Cooling. Keeping the big dogs comfortable at ckphvac.com.
Meet us at Cafe Sarda. You're invited to join us Tuesday, September 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're thanking our valued riders with a fun, tasty event to help us celebrate our 25th anniversary. Enjoy the Howlin' Bird, Smush ice cream sandwiches, and Lurch's Donut food trucks, along with prize giveaways. Meet us at the One Center for Leadership parking lot across from the Cornerstone Transit Center. That's September 12th from 10 to 2 at Cafe Sarda. Happy Sardiversary.
Thinking about purchasing a reverse osmosis drinking water system for your home? Call Verndale Water Experts today and schedule a free consultation with one of our experts. Verndale Water Experts, the people you can trust to give your family the purest water possible.
Verndale's Water Center.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, Ohioans have now placed more than $4 billion worth of bets on sports gambling in 2023, though July was the slowest month for sports betting so far this year. Combined, Ohioans bet just under $332 million in July. That's down from $363 million in June. That's all according to data that's compiled by the Ohio Casino Control and Ohio Lottery Commissions. The Casino Commission released its July revenue numbers last week. Separately, the Lottery Commission released its report covering gaming kiosks in mid-August. After payout winnings and voided wagers, the companies took in a combined $37.2 million in revenue in July, up from $32.6 million in June. The odds of revenue going up now that football season is getting started is very good. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Kyiv on an unannounced visit this morning, hours after Russia launched its first missile attack in a week against the Ukrainian capital. He is meeting with Vladimir Zelensky to discuss the ongoing counteroffensive and reconstruction efforts. Proud Boys' Enrico Tarrio gets a record 22 years in prison for a January 6 seditious conspiracy. He is the leader of the Proud Boys. His sentence is the longest so far among the more than 1,100 Capitol riot cases, topping the 18-year sentence that Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes and one-time Proud Boys leader Ethan Nordine received after juries convicted them of seditious conspiracy and other charges. The Cleveland Guardians lost again to Minnesota 8-3. They're now 7 games back in the division race. They will play a day game today, 12:35, the pregame, 1:05 first pitch, right here on 1480 WHBC. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Partly sunny, a warm day. A thunderstorm in the afternoon today. The high up to 89. For tonight, warm, humid, partly cloudy, thunderstorm, and a low 67. Tomorrow, clouds and humid. Afternoon thunderstorm, not as warm. The high 79. A thunderstorm in spots on Friday. The high at 76. Get your weather news when you want it, how you want it at AccuWeather.com. I'm Steve Williams for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Prices and profits at big grocery store chains keep going up. Now they want to take away your credit card rewards too. You heard right. As the biggest grocery chains try to get even bigger and limit competition, they're pressuring Congress to pass a law making your cash back, points, rewards, and airline miles a thing of the past. With inflation eating away at your food budget, the big plan from Big Grocery is to make things even worse by making it harder to earn credit card rewards when you try to feed your family. This isn't competition. It's a money grab by Big Grocery. Consumers in Main Street will lose big. That's why we need Congress to step up, protect your points, and help stop Big Grocery's anti-competitive credit card legislation from ever becoming law. Congress should stand with American consumers and protect their credit card rewards. Find out how to contact your lawmakers at aba.com/protectmypoints. Paid for by American Bankers Association, aba.com, sponsored by Ohio Bankers League.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on this Wednesday morning. I'm Pam Cook with you. And I should remind you that we are live on Facebook right now, also on our YouTube channel, so you can check us out there. And if you missed any of our broadcasts this morning, you can always find it live and find the recording on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. And again, we're talking about the 50th annual Yankee Peddler Festival, which is coming to Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton for 3 weekends, starting this weekend, and then also the 16th and 17th and the 23rd and 24th. And we want to say congratulations to Janet Bickle and David Caldwell. They are the winners of our family 4-packs to come to the Yankee Peddler Festival. And we're going to give some more tickets away tomorrow morning on Canton's Morning News on my program. So we're looking forward to that as well. And again, Frank and Amanda Chaika with us today. They're the coordinators of the Yankee Peddler Festival. And we didn't talk about food, guys. And I was like looking on the website and I'm like, you know, this is a well-kept secret. I'm going to tell you, there's so much.
Yeah, food. We haven't discussed that, and we haven't discussed entertainment as well. There's so much that goes on at the festival, and it does start with the sort of the core, the heart of the arts and crafts. But we have some wonderful food on the grounds, and I know people who come for the food. They're not that interested in arts and crafts, but they love the food. And it's no exaggeration. We're very selective about the people that are on the grounds as well as for food. Some people have been with us quite a while because they're so good, and other, we always are trying to bring in some new flavors and new food. But we could talk about the all-time favorites if you'd like, and then
yes. And then the new things, yeah, for sure.
I'm sure you're familiar with apple fritters on the grounds. The apple fritters are not the donut kind of apple fritters. We have people, the Bear family and their operation. The children peel the apples right there with peelers, hand peelers. They core them. They cut them up. They go right into the oil, batter into the oil. So really, what you have is fresh apples that have been battered, and with cinnamon and a little bit of powdered sugar, they're divine. They use very nice sweet apples, as you know. Turkey legs. We have a lot of people walk around with turkey legs just because they're there.
Corn in the cob.
And they're smoked there.
Corn in the cob. They love to walk around with the corn and having fun with it, eating fresh corn. That's really
the key thing is all of our food purveyors start with fresh products. So whether it's French fries, there's no frozen things coming out of a bag. The potatoes are there. They're fresh. They're cooked over open fires. Or fried over the open fires, if you will, or roasted over open fires, or smoked over open fires. All of that goes into the flavor. And as you walk through the grounds, you can smell the great flavors and the aromas. So kind of attracts you and leads you to where you're going. But everything's fresh. And that's the one thing that we, in this day of food trucks, where you can just pull up and people have refrigerated units and everything, they plunk things together. We're the old-fashioned wagon, as it were.
Food wagon, yeah.
and it's more time consuming, but the food is very, very good. Excellent food. There's sandwiches, there's bigger meals like turkey legs, the whole gamut we run. This year we have new sweets people with people. Last year we introduced salads in a mason jar and soup that are really very, very good. We've added some barbecue. We keep moving around and doing things but there's always the old staples, the old standbys there as well.
Yeah, because it's all part of the experience, right?
Exactly. And we don't object to people bringing a picnic lunch if they want to do that. But not a lot of people do, because the food itself is so appetizing and good. But we just want people to have a good time, and the food is part of the good time for sure.
And talk a little bit more about the entertainment as well, because that is also, as you say, another big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll speak to that a little bit. Our entertainment is nonstop all day. That is, there's something going on at any given moment during the day. We have a couple groups that simply stay in one place, and they just keep playing all day. They're marvelous musicians who have a stamina that's unheard of. They'll play with very short breaks. We also have musicians. We have a band that has evolved and called Tanz Musiki. It used to be called Fair Passage, but what they've done is led by Mike Barden of Navarre, Ohio. They have gotten into the Scandinavian roots of American folk music. So they play a Scandinavian music and show how it merges into the early American folk music, and it's really lovely music. And they play all day. We have two-hammered dulcimer players that play all day towards the entrance of Gate 2. So they're there all day. We have wandering musicians. We have a bagpiper and we have a saxophonist. Stephen Thomas is the saxophonist, and he's with his wife Deb and Jim Rubel, whose wife has a Artisan booth. She's a painter, artist booth. Does the bagpiping. They wander the grounds all the time, so you're always going to hear them.
And also we have a great magician.
Yeah,
and all the magician is the great part of the festival. We would like to see him bring all these people around herself and show us all this magic. It's just wonderful.
Jania Taylor calls herself Charmin J, and she's quite a character on the ground. She has a great persona out there, and she does big card tricks with big cards and all kinds of things. And then the Marlett family, TJ and his daughter Emily, do a stage performance of magic and music, and it's that's on a stage a couple times a day. So that goes on. Puppet shows and marionettes all day for young at heart. And then we also have a featured group each weekend that plays on our electronic stage. We do have a contemporary sort of stage for them. We have the Celtic Sisters. We're a group from Ohio of women who dance and sing to Celtic music this first weekend. The Plate Scrapers come the second weekend.
I wanted to ask you about that. I saw that, the Plate Scrapers. I thought, what the heck is that? That's me and my kids.
It's a five-man group. Their origins were in bluegrass music, but they've gone electric, and they've modernized bluegrass music, and they're just fantastic. They're very well known along the East Coast. They do a lot of shows on the East Coast. They've been on national radio, and we're really just lucky to have them. We ran across them a few years back, and they're just great, happy music, and it's wonderful. Just sit there and you start stomping your feet and just get lost in their music. And the third weekend we have a marvelous baritone in his backup group, Steve Madewell. He's from Painesville, Ohio, and he's not a throwback to crooners, but he can croon, and he's really very, very good. He does remixes of ballads and old love songs and that sort of thing. He's really quite good. So we have those sort of are the big featured artists. We have all of the other things going on. And for Children's Weekend, we add Fractured Fairy Tales, which is our theatrical group that we've worked with for many years, puts on a fairy tale that is kind of fractured. It isn't quite the same as it was in its origin, and everyone just sits there and has a great time with it.
I love that. I love that. And, when you mentioned the grounds, how much space are we talking about? I mean, for people to wander around.
About 75 acres. It's pretty extensive. Fortunately, it's reasonably flat. We don't have too many real serious hills, but it's a lot of ground to cover. And we have stationed benches, and we have stationed picnic tables all along the ground, so that wherever you plunk yourself down, wherever you get tired, there's a place to plunk yourself down, and it's usually with entertainment attached to it or very close by.
Yeah.
So a rest period is also just a nice, very pleasant moment for yourself.
That's great.
And it's wheelchair accessible. That takes a little bit of. It's good to have a helper if you're in a wheelchair, but then people come with motorized scooters and motorized wheelchairs, and they get around. It's not asphalted, as you know. It's gravel and paths, but it's accessible, and so people can get around, and it's worth spending the day. moving around from place to place.
It's good to mention that it's free parking.
Yeah, we have free parking.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's good to mention. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take our final break here. And when we come back, we'll recap some things. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about the artisans themselves and some of the things that people can buy and what that process is like for folks to purchase things when they get there. And it's the 50th annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park. It's this weekend, next weekend, and the following weekend. So make sure you check that out and stay tuned. We'll have more right here on Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
High school sports. This is the right place. News Talk 1480, WHBC.
Step back in time 200 years and join the Yankee Peddlers at the 50th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton, Ohio, on the weekends of September 9th, 10th, 16th, 17th, 23rd, and 24th. Over 200 artists and crafters will set up rustic shops at the largest show of its kind in Ohio, joined by purveyors of tasty outdoor fare, made over open fires, and entertainers from musical groups to theatrical productions. More information at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. It's the 50th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival. Don't miss it.
With a million things on your mind, seeing a urologist isn't always at the top of the list. But at Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospital, your urological health matters. From kidney stones and overactive bladder to erectile dysfunction and prostate cancer screenings, our experts offer a full range of care. With locations close to you, we'll walk you through every step of the journey, from evaluations and consultations to life-changing treatments. Don't delay getting care. Learn more at cantonmercy.org/urology.
When nature steals the juice that runs your home, you want to be able to flip the switch and put your new generator from Beck Electric Generators and Plumbing into action, because peace of mind is a priceless commodity. And since you never know when nature will steal your juice, the last thing you want to do is be caught with your amps down. Call Beck today and schedule your generator installation.
The fastest way to fix is Beck Electric Generators and Plumbing.
I don't know what I want to do. I'm just not sure that college is right for me. Have you considered a career in dental assisting? I love my job as a dental assistant. I have flexible work hours, the money is good, and I get to work in a professional, people-oriented dental office. What I really love about my job is knowing that I give people a healthy smile.
For more information about becoming a dental assistant, contact your high school guidance counselor. Or if you are no longer in school, talk to a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Ugh, I don't have time for a cold.
Honey.
Honey?
You need DayQuil Severe Honey flavor.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honey-licious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honey-licious. Power through your day, medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Cleveland area attorneys. 5005 Rockside Road, Suite 350, Independence, Ohio, 44131.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy.
Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And again, it is our spotlight on this Wednesday morning. We're talking about the Yankee Peddler Festival at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. That's where you can get all the great information. And also you can get tickets that way, but you can get tickets at the gate as well. And that's probably your easiest way to do it and best way to do it. And we are talking this morning with Frank and Amanda Chaika, and it has been 50 years of the festival, and so many great things for people to see. And we were talking earlier, about the artisans and the crafters, and you had mentioned, they're there to make money. Obviously, they want to sell their wares, so to speak. And how does that process work? If I'm walking through and I see something that I like, how does a person go about doing that?
Well, the artisan crafters have made one concession to modern life. They accept credit cards.
Very good.
I think of an exception at this point, but if there were an exception, they would accept checks or cash. But they do accept plastic, and it's a simple system. They hide their smartphones so no one can see them, and they don't want to ruin the environment, but they want to process sales. So that is the easiest way to do it. Or as I say, with checks or cash. Food, on the other hand, is all cash. We have ATMs there. If people show up with limited cash in their wallet, that happens. But we have a couple ATMs on the ground, so there's always a way to replenish the cash flow if necessary. Gates are all cash as well, but the online tickets are obviously credit card purchases. So there's both ways to go with that.
Okay, good to know. That's people want to plan ahead and be able to do that kind of thing. And also, as I'm going through, what kinds of things am I going to see from the artisans? We didn't really get real specific with some of them. What are some of your favorites even?
It's jewelry.
Jewelry. I was going to say, yeah.
Jewelry. And we have woodworking. We have baskets. We have bags made by hand. And we have flower arrangements made by hand. We
play at home a game where we take the alphabet and we run down the alphabet and see if we can fill out from A to Z. And this year we're A to W. We don't have any zebras, I guess.
No xylophones for sale.
We're A to W, and starting out with alpacas and alpaca wool. The bees, we have beeswax, blacksmiths, benches, seeds, candles, clay, cosmetics, even concrete decor. We have a gentleman from from Canton who makes decor for your house out of concrete, and he colors it, and it's really quite lovely things to put on tables and
wow.
What do you call those paperweights, for instance, which no one uses anymore because there's no paper, but they're beautiful as standalone items. We have deerskin, dried flowers. I'm just skipping over this as quickly as it comes off my head.
That's good.
E, embroidery. F, we have felting, wool felting. People make dowels and make things out of felted wool. We have florals, fiber, and furniture. G is gourds, glass. We have 4 young glass makers who are going to be at the grounds this year. One is their second year, but 3 years is going to be their first year. They make glass, fused glass, glass mosaic. They blow glass. They're just really exciting young people who work, know each other in the city they come from, and they've joined us this year.
Glass jewelry.
Glass jewelry, yes. H is herbals. We have a lot of herbals and honeybees even. We have a honeybee exhibit and people who sell honey. Jewelry is J. K is knitting. We have a woman who takes typewriter keys and makes jewelry out of that. Kamadar, she comes from Indiana. L, leather. We have some marvelous leather workers, as you're probably familiar with. And we have miniatures, miniature food, miniature figures. Made out of bread dough, made out of polymer, depending upon the inclination. We have metal workers, macrame. I'm running out of gas here, but P for there's more, but I can just hit the P is a big category. We have pewter, pottery, painting, paper arts, and photography. So get the gist. There's sewing and quilting as well, sheepskin, deerskin, all kinds of woodworking, vintage paper. A woman that takes old books that no one, even in their minds, has anymore, finds them in the scrap heap, and she refashions them into other objects. She cuts them and twists them and does all these things, and she ends up with Christmas trees made out of old books. It's just a fascinating kind of work. So there are people that do a lot of repurposing on the grounds as well, and weaving. That's the last category, the W, as well as woodworking. So there's quite a bit. You know, if I could just mention briefly, we haven't talked about our demonstrators. There are people who don't sell things on the grounds.
Oh, yeah.
We have them there. We pay them so that they create part of the environment and also show how things were made back in the traditional days. The Algonquin Spinning Guild is a group of people who are dedicated to weaving by hand and making the thread from the fleece. They actually buy a fleece. We fund them to buy a fleece for the 4-H club, and then they take the fleece and they make thread out of it. They spin the thread and then they weave it. And it's just fascinating what they do. There's a whole group. There's 10 to 15 people working on that on the grounds. They're there every year, led by Kathy Hovey. And then we have our frontiersmen, led by Bob Keller of Massillon, men who show what it was like to live on the Ohio frontier. And they set up a large encampment, and they're delighted to have people wander up and talk to them. And they, quite frankly, are living in another era. When they come to the festival, they're really great people. And then we have a Civil War encampment, and it's an artillery group. They fire their cannons 3 times a day, not at full blast because we probably would scare teasers out of us, but they do fire them off and show how they do that. And they talk about what life was on the march, what it was like to be during the Civil War. So those are people. We don't sell anything, but they are really there to educate.
And honestly, well worth your $11, right? I mean,
yeah. And then we have the other thing we introduced last year was chalk art. We have a gentleman Jeff Pilkington, who comes from Indiana, who will basically he does art on pavements, right? So we've got an area in Muskrat Cove that has a concrete base in the pavilion, and he's going to do art. He's going to do chalk art in that area. And what's marvelous about this is you can see him draw it all day and everything, but when he has one point of perspective, and when you stand on it, the image comes to life. It just wow. It's like as if we were watching a movie, but it's not a movie. It's a still piece, and it comes to life. And it could be a grizzly bear coming at you. It could be. He does all kinds of marvelous things. So,
that's amazing.
He's going to be there on the Children's Weekend, the second weekend as well.
All right. Well, again, YankeePeddlerFestival.com. That's the website. You can get information and get tickets. You can get tickets at the gate. And we're so glad that you guys came on today with all the information. And next 3 weekends, got to get there. It's not an expensive thing. It's well worth it, as I said, and a lot of fun. And take the kids and enjoy yourselves and enjoy the food. And you'll have a great time. And I appreciate you guys coming on today. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you
very much for having us.
It's great to be part of Stark County football.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be fun.
Appreciate all you guys do. You guys are great.
R79.